This is Show Up as a Leader, a show from PeopleForward Network, helping you maximize your positive impact on the world by becoming your best, fully authentic self. Hey, everybody. It is Rosie. I am super excited. This is my second anniversary episode, and we're doing something different. We are flipping the script, and Nikki is actually going to interview me, and we're going to have a conversation to set the tone going into year 3. So, Nikki, thanks for being here, and I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad that we brainstormed this amazing idea. So happy second anniversary to Show Up as a Leader. And congrats to you, Rosie Ward, for the dedication to share inspirational and meaningful, thought-provoking content. You know, the average podcast lasts for 7 episodes and you're way past that. So here's the thing. We're very much beating the odds and the content is exceptional. So we are soaring high and it's so cool to round a corner and go into year 3. I bet in some ways you're like, it's only year 3. And then in other ways you're like, it's year 3. So as we do go into year 3, let's reflect first. Rosie, what fills your cup most about leading Show Up as a Leader?
There's a lot that fills my cup. I think for me, it's just been the incredible people that I've met. Some I knew and I'm like, hey, I need to have you on my show. And some I didn't know. And just the incredible people that are doing such amazing things out there. Once upon a time in my career, I used to describe myself as a salmon swimming upstream. And I don't feel that way anymore. Like there are such incredible leaders and such incredible workplaces that really are doing the work to create a more human experience, to normalize the messiness of being human. And I'm just so thankful that people have these conversations with me. I'm so thankful for what they're doing and the impact that they're having. And it's just, it fills my bucket every conversation I have. And then when I get to listen to the episodes afterwards, it's like a double, like, oh, yay, it filled my bucket again.
That's so great. So great. And you mentioned this concept that last night we had my coach, his name's Tommy, over for dinner with his wife. And he's been my coach since I was in my early 20s. And at least 5 times we talked about the importance of figuring out how to be in flow with life. So not the salmon going upstream, but the salmon flowing down and just enjoying the ride. And to be able to be there after 2 years or in your second year is really cool. Like to be able to feel that. And I feel like that is showing up for you across all of the business efforts that you have, from Salveo Partners and the incredible conference that was brought to life this year with Fusion 2.0 and all that you're doing with Dr. Rosie Ward. So I feel it as well, being part of the network that hosts your show. So it's so cool. I'd love for you to share with us some of the lessons learned in your life experience that are just top of mind right now. What are these things that you're like, this is what I'm wanting to share with the world right now?
There's a lot, I think, I finally have been investing more in taking pause to reflect. And I was just at a YOS conference and between Fusion. And the few things that I'm sitting with is one is the power of one. There is such an opportunity for each and every one of us to make a difference. And we think, oh, I can't influence that or I can't influence that. But what I heard at our Fusion 2.0 conference, and really the intent of the show, of everybody has an opportunity, and I feel like a responsibility to show up as a leader in our life, looking for where can we make a positive impact. And I think it can feel so overwhelming with all that's going on in our world, but to bring it down to the power of one, like what can you do today? So I sit there going, hey, what can I do today to maximize my positive impact with my son, with my husband, with my community, with my team? And that makes it feel more tangible, like it's today. And one of the things, I had the wonderful opportunity this past week to meet Paul Epstein, and he's just this phenomenal guy. And we were talking about the difference of purpose and versus why and stuff. And sometimes people think about, the way he describes it is that our purpose is this big compass and it feels overwhelming and I'm supposed to be moving towards this big thing, but I'm just trying to get through Monday, or I'm just trying to get through Friday. And one of the things, which is probably going to be a future Rosie in my pocket, but he said, okay, so if you've done work to clarify your purpose, if you've done work to operationalize your core values, are you actually living it? Is it actually a lifestyle, or is it a bumper sticker? And I'm like, holy crap, I got to write that down. And why I'm sitting with that is that I have my values hanging here by my computer. I regularly in all of our work say I ground myself in that. And I think about the work we do with clients, and we need to take it a step further. Like, as human beings, we forget. As human beings, we can get in our own way. As human beings, sometimes we need to go back to the basics. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us or something bad. We're human. And so I keep going back to some of the basics, like intentional practice. Can I ground myself in each and every day in my lighthouse, in my values and purpose? So it is a lifestyle, not a bumper sticker. And it's not a bumper sticker for me, but sometimes you fall to the wayside and you get pulled out of alignment. And so for me, that and recognizing if I'm going to make a difference in my life, I have to be anchored on something. So those two have just been so apparent. And with the guests that I've interviewed over the past couple of years, most of them have done that work individually and at their organizational level. Like they've got that really clear lighthouse. It's not a bumper sticker for them. It's not a bumper sticker for their organization. And there's such power in that. And it seems so basic. Like Simon Sinek, how many years ago now, said start with why, but there's truth to it.
So good. And listeners, here's the thing I'm going to hone in on for a minute is stop just getting through and wishing your life away. I mean, I think we all go through those times where it's like a tough season. And it's like, all right, let's just get to the Q4 start line, right? I think that's normal. But when you normalize getting through, not good. Success in life is defined by I am enjoying my moment now. I'm enjoying today. Because as high achievers, you're looking towards there's my goal and I'm going to be happy and success is then. No, success is now.
As you're talking about being present, I was thinking about yesterday, I had posted on LinkedIn and it was, having this moment of clarity. And I had started out with a quote from a song that I learned about years ago. And it's called Chances Are by Michael Pollack. And the line goes, he's like, you may be alive, but are you living? I promise you the two are not the same. And then he says, chances are this chance won't come again, is further down. And so when you talk about being present and you talk about what's the impact that I can have now, that's always a song that comes to mind. And it's like, I might be alive, but am I living? And will this chance come again? Am I going to waste this or am I going to do something with this? And so that was coming up for me. I'm like, maybe we can put it in the show notes, Google it. You can find the link, but it's such a beautiful song. And it's just, it's like my go-to when I'm like, I need to get refocused. I need to get recentered. Love it.
That's so good. And here, I'm just going to throw this out for those of you that might have a rap need for that genre of message. You can never get enough of Eminem's Lose Yourself, right? Like you got one shot, one opportunity. So whichever way you want to pump up your tunes, like, yes, we have this one opportunity. I love that ad.
Love me some Lose Yourself. I'll sit there and I'll rock out with it. It's fantastic.
You had mentioned Rosie in My Pocket. So these episodes are awesome and numbers and responses don't lie. We've gotten so much great feedback. So Rosie, what does Rosie in My Pocket look like going into year 3?
Yeah, so I have to laugh about this because if people don't understand the background, so I don't know what it is. I don't know. But like for the past couple of years, and I'm talking regularly, I'm working with the team or I'm coaching a leader and we're talking through something and they're trying to figure out how to approach something and we're helping them get clarity. And they will say, God, can I just have you in my pocket in that conversation? Or, oh, I just like going back to the basics. We need reminders, right? And so I remember with one of my coaching clients, we started joking. She goes, no, I need a bobblehead. And I was like, oh God, me as a bobblehead would have to have sparkles and it would be really weird, but that would be funny, right? And I'm like, can you imagine that? So then I was like working with this really high up leader and he said the same thing. Oh, and he's been in leadership for 20 years and everybody respects him. And he said, can I have you in my pocket in that conversation? And I was like, this is so funny. And so I'm imagining this little sparkly rosy bobblehead in your pocket. But that's where the idea came from. And I thought, well, yeah, we all need those reminders. I don't care how long we've been on this life journey. I don't care how long we've been on this leadership journey. And a lot of this stuff isn't rocket science. We just forget, and bringing ourselves back to tools, back to basics, back to stuff that helps us show up as a leader is super helpful. And so that's really, it started as an experiment. Well, what if we do a Rosie in My Pocket episode? And now I do thought-provoking Thursdays with little video clips on LinkedIn. And it's been so funny, the responses, but it's like, oh yeah, this is a great reminder. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. I needed to hear that today. And so I think that we want to take it beyond LinkedIn and go, well, how can we embed some of that in the podcast? So if you're not on LinkedIn or you're walking around and you want it in your ears, like what are some reminders that, again, maybe it's nothing new, but it's that stuff that selfishly I do them for myself. It's literally what comes up with them is, what are the conversations I've been having with people that I'm seeing universality? Like when I did a feedback episode, it's people have been asking me about feedback and we've been having those conversations. So I'm like, well, I'll do a Rosie in my pocket around it. Or if I've been struggling with something, I'm like, well, if I am, I bet somebody else is. So I'll do a Rosie in my pocket. So I think the way that as we're getting used to this and realizing, I guess people want me in their pocket or their ear or whatever it is just, okay, well, what are some of the things that are on people's minds? What are the things that they're struggling with? And can in a couple of minutes, for the LinkedIn thing, or maybe a little bit longer on a podcast episode, can we come up with something that will give people reminders to help them still show up as the best version of them that they can that day and maximize their positive impact. So I'm open to it. I'm open to see, people can send in their suggestions of what that looks like, or ping me on LinkedIn or whatnot of like, are there topics that you're struggling with? Because that's really what it's for. It's coming off of people that I'm working with asking for this stuff. And I'm like, okay, why not?
So, Rosie, how can listeners best engage with Show Up as a Leader, or what is your wish for how you get to experience connection with your audience going into year 3?
That's a really good question. And I know that we recently put the podcast on Podchaser, and I'm still learning how that works, but correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki. My understanding is that on Podchaser, people can actually write comments and I can respond to them there. Unlike on Apple Podcasts, it's like a one-way review, but you can actually engage on Podchaser. So I'm excited to maybe try that out and see what that looks like, since I'm still kind of new at that. People can find me on my website and email me. People can find me on LinkedIn. And I would love to just know more about the community that's out there. I hear from some people that I know, or they'll give me a text or send me a note of, hey, I love your podcast, or hey, this really resonated for me. But I would love to know, like, I don't do this for me. So I would love to know what is resonating for people and what do they want more of. So really, I welcome it all, because I feel like this is something that I'm grateful for, that I feel like it's a way that I can add value. And it's never been about me. It's really about the guests. It's really about the message. It's really about how does it impact the people who are listening and what do they do with it to go out and hopefully make a better impact.
And I just want to chime in and say you are one of my favorite people on LinkedIn. So listeners, if you're not following Dr. Rosie Ward on LinkedIn, please do that, because that's such a great way. You're so active. Like, not only do you post something and people comment, your ongoing conversation, you're really good at that. So that is a great way that I know I personally, aside from knowing you and working with you, that I engage with you a lot on your content around your show. And listeners, whenever you find that an episode is powerful for you, pay it forward. Share that episode with someone else. Share it with people you work with or friends that you think that it can inspire. I know that that is another way that it just helps Show Up as a Leader make more impact. So happy 2nd anniversary, and let's go year 3.
Woo-hoo!
Yay!
Yay! As we have been having this awesome conversation about one person making a difference, and really the power of us showing up as our unique, fully authentic self, it got me thinking, anniversaries are a time for gifts and celebrations and presents. And one of the things that has been super impactful for me personally, as well as so many of our clients, is being able to clearly articulate and put language to our lighthouse, our purpose, our YOS, what makes us tick, as well as our core values. So I believe success happens when we challenge outdated and limited thinking and processes. How I do that is by finding a better way and sharing it. And what people can ultimately count on me for is to make a positive impact and contribute to their lives. That is my YOS. When I discovered my why, it was a game changer to put succinct language to it. And so what I want to do is give something back to all of you, my incredible community, and help you be able to quickly discover your why and get the process started. So if you're listening to this, the first 10 people who email us at hello, HELLO, at salveopartners.com, we are going to, from our own supply, give you the gift of a why discovery so that you can begin your journey to clarify your lighthouse. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for celebrating going into our 3rd year of this podcast. And again, the first 10 people who respond an email to hello@salveopartners.com, we want to help you on your journey to discover your why. Thanks so much, everyone. I'm Rosie Ward, and this is Show Up as a Leader. To learn more, head over to PeopleForwardNetwork.com and, of course, hit that follow button.